All right, let's talk about power cords and airlines. First up, we have a 100-foot 12 gauge power cord, a 25-foot 12 gauge, a 50-foot 14 gauge, two 25-foot 16 gauge, and one 10-foot 16 gauge. These smaller ones here are primarily used when hooking up fogging machines to apply sanitizer or disinfectant. These larger ones here would be used in assisting to potentially extend an electric machine or lighting, depending on the situation we're in. Starting with airline, the first two here are our primary lead hoses. They are rubber half-inch hoses. This is what we run in through the home first, so we can get enough air in there to run two technicians at one time. You'll see we have a splitter here. This is where we would hook up. Typically this is going to have a terry cloth taped to it to cover it to prevent any damage to a floor. I did take that off so you can see it better. We use TEMA high flow couplers, which we'll talk about a little more in depth in a second. The coupling for this one is a large half-inch safety connection. You can see how massive that is in my hand. How the safety connection works is you'll notice there's a couple of air relief hoses there. You twist it one way, it relieves the air pressure, then you twist it the opposite way to unlock it. It prevents it from flying out and hitting you, because we're running right around 200 psi of pressure in there. Then we would go to our poly lines. This is what we use primarily. Located here in Minnesota, we do this year round. The colder months, the poly lines tend to just stay a little bit more flexible in the winter. But we have two 100-foot poly lines, two 50-foot poly lines. Depending on the size of the home, we would choose either the 100 or the 50 to come off of the lead hose. Then we have a 100-foot rubber line and two 50-foot rubber lines. Then we can talk about those air connections here. So the TEMA high flow here, first and foremost, I'm going to compare it to a standard. You guys have probably seen one of these, a standard connection here that would use an end like this, pull back and lock it in. Now I'm going to compare that. These are adapters that I built for hooking up tools or air hoses that don't have the TEMA high flow system. But to compare the difference, this on the right is the TEMA, and this is your standard one. You can see there's a massive difference. You can actually slide one right into the other on how much air volume is going in there. The other advantage of is these, you have to pull back, and with that much air pressure over 200 psi, this can be sometimes a little cumbersome. We do have female employees, and sometimes they can struggle with this a little bit. The nice about this is they're an auto lock, so when you have it, you simply push and it clicks, and then just pull back to release. It stays back. Again, just push and automatically lock. So they're very user friendly. Make your changeovers from your spraying wand to your whip extremely fast. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. I also made a little drawing to tell you kind of the example of how this would work here. So on the left side here is the standard fitting. You're going to see it typically will hit a 90-degree turn about 4 times. Comes in, hits a wall there, turns, and then out. The TEMA has a bit of a teardrop shape, so if you look in here, you can kind of see it. It looks like a bullet or a teardrop shape, and what that does is that allows the airflow to go just around it very nice and easy. When we changed to this style, it was amazing the amount of power we increased on our whips, so we could really get them to agitate a lot more. So we've had a lot of great success with that, and all our airlines are outfitted with it.